Hello, everyone. We will continue to talk about the next part. As we know, now we use IPSec VPN, or maybe ESP, we can protect our traffic, right? In this process, one important parameter is a key. So we already explained before about the key we can manually configure by an administrator, or maybe we can use the protocol IKE to help us negotiate automatically. Now let's see the detail, how to use IKE and how to help us to do negotiate. And the IKE full name is Internet Key Exchange. So like the name, this protocol is mainly used to dynamically establish SA, because when we help to establish IPSec SA, we also have to negotiate the key value. And then we can use a key, use an algorithm to protect our traffic. And IKE is a hybrid protocol in the IPSec frame structure. So let's see the detail. This is the part of two protocols, OClear and the CKIM key management protocol. And we have two parts. The first one, we have to provide the mechanism by the public key encryption for authentication purpose. So because about the key course is not the main part of the RCNP, because this belongs to the security area. And about the key, we can provide the public key and private key, because if you directly send your key in the public network, it's not so security. And the second part, we can provide the mechanism for the basic mode of agreeing on the same encryption key between two IPSec peers. So first part, we have to provide to negotiate you are the correct peer. Then we can negotiate the parameter to get the key information. And the IPSec full name is Internet Security Association Key Management. So this protocol is specially to manage the key. It can define the SA negotiation and how to establish, and also how to modify, and also delete the process and the packet format. So all the functions belong to the IPSec map. And the detail is we can provide negotiation, modify, delete the SA, and we don't need to define the SA format. So this is a basic one. And this protocol uses the UDP, also can use TCP to exchange the parameters, and the port number is 500. So in your network, if you use some filter policy to delete the port number 500, maybe your IPSec VPN also cannot establish successful. In the generally, the UDP is used. So this is the basic function of the IKE. And then let's see the process. What's the principle and what's the relationship of the IPSec and IKE? If now there are two routers, route A and route B, if we want to establish the IPSec tunnel to help us protect our user, what's the detailed step? First, we have to configure the IKE model. Of course, you can use some manual configuration to replace the IKE. So here is the IKE model. And the first step, they will exchange some IKE message. Finally, if the parameters is ready, we can establish the IKE SA. And the second pass, we have to use the IKE SA, also have to protect the IPSec information. So we will help to establish the IPSec SA. because in these two steps, IKE and IPSec, they will use different algorithm and the purpose is different. And then if the IPSec SA is ready, we will establish IPSec tunnel. And about the IPSec SA, this is U-directional. So the traffic from left to right and also the right to left, the information will be different. And about the IKE model, we will provide the encryption and authentication model. And we will use the IKE SA, for example, also encrypt the message. We will use the algorithm and also the key. We can use this one to protect our IPSec SA. Then when we establish the IPSec SA, we can protect our user traffic. So between them, we can encrypt the message and then to forward the message out to provide the transmission. And finally, the user message can be protected. So there are different processes. The IKE SA is used to help to protect our IPSec SA, and the IPSec SA will protect our user message. And the main working principle of the IKE negotiation is between two router or maybe layer 3 devices, we will provide 2 steps. The first one, we have to provide the IKE SA established. And in this step, we will have 2 modes, main mode and aggressive mode. And the main mode will have higher security than the aggressive mode, because this one will provide 6 IKE message. And the second mode is used for 3 message. So this is the first one. And the second one, after we establish IKE SA successful, then we will help to establish IPSec SA. And we only support one mode, is quickly mode. So there are 2 steps. And someone may be confused what's the difference of the main mode and the aggressive mode. In different scenario, if 2 router, route 1 and also route 2, right? 1 and 2. If the public interface is fixed, so you can use the main mode to directly negotiate with each other. But if one IP address is dynamic, in this mode, you have to use aggressive mode. And then the negotiation must from 1 to 2, because you have to encapsulate all the packets successful, includes the IP address. But maybe first time and second time, the IP address of route 1 will be different. So these are 2 modes you can choose when you configure the IKE. And the IPSec SA provides the security protection for IP message, like the ping packets, right? This belongs to the RCNP packets. And the IKE SA protects multiple IPSec SA negotiation. And we will provide the protection in the phase 2. So this is a relationship of the IKE and IPSec. And the next one is not only about the IPSec SA and also about the IKE SA. We have to provide the authentication and also the encryption function, right? And you can think the authentication or maybe encryption. These are different security service level for the message. But who will do the encryption or maybe authentication? It is algorithm. So about the algorithm, we can divide. First is encryption algorithm. And about encryption algorithm, we also can divide them to become symmetric and asymmetric. Symmetric means the private public key will be safe. We only use a private key. So the type is DS, 3DS, and AES. Different algorithm can provide different level encryption. Okay, so this is the first one. And the level from level to high. And the asymmetric means we will use private key and public key together, and not double key. And the algorithm is RSA, DSA, and DH, right? For example, usually we will use these three type encryption algorithm into the IPSec. And we usually use the DH in the IKE. So we can protect the IPSec message. And about the authentication algorithm, we also call it hash algorithm. And the algorithm type is MD5, SHA1, SHA2, and SM3. So these are three types for the hash algorithm. And the data input of any length is converted to output a fixed length for data integrated check. So this is a function. Although maybe your origin message is 1, 2, 3, finally you only get one fixed length value. Also maybe your value will become 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? The result will be same if you choose a special algorithm. So this is a definition. So about the algorithm, we can divide two types, one for encryption, one for the authentication. And about the encryption algorithm, we also can divide two types, symmetric and asymmetric. Symmetric means the encryption key and the decryption key will be same. Decryption key will locate, when we send out the message, we will use the encryption key to protect our traffic. When we receive the message, we have to use a decryption key to make the ciphertext to become an original message. And the asymmetric encryption algorithm means the encryption key will be different with the decryption key. So this is different. And this is the encryption and also the authentication. And the next part, we say about the encryption. We have two types. One is symmetric and another one is encryption, asymmetric. And we have different advantage and disadvantage. About the symmetric, we can provide a faster encryption and decryption, but maybe the key distribution defect. Because you use the same key, maybe someone will know what's your key value. If you use an asymmetric encryption, we will provide high key security because you can think we have double key, right? And the disadvantage is we will provide relatively slow encryption and decryption. So maybe you need more resources to protect your key. And then about the IPSec frame, the whole process, you have to choose which IPSec protocol you want to use, ESP or AH. AH only can provide the authentication, but ESP can provide authentication and encryption together. The second is encryption. Encryption, you can use DS, 3DS, and or maybe AES. This one for ESP. And about the data digest, you can use MD5 and SHA1. These two protocols belong to the authentication. You can use in ESP or maybe you also can use for AH. And another one for the identity authentication. This one for IKE pair. This three parts for IPSec. This one for IKE. Because before we establish the negotiation between two routers, you have to make sure your neighbor is a good neighbor. is a legal neighbor. So you can use pressure key. What's your password? Can you know the password between us? Pressure key. Or maybe you can use RSA, a special key, a special identify. You can think this is organization to store what's your identifier, like your ID card. So these are two types. And how to make your key exchange? You can have DH1, 2, 5, and 14, and use this algorithm. This one also will be used in the IKE part. After use this algorithm, we can get the special key that used in the IPSec assay. So this is a whole process of the IPSec frame. That's all. Thank you.